Hey guys, if you want to know exactly where to go to learn all about self-storage investing, which it seems like everybody does, I have Scott Meyers on today from SelfStorageInvestingcom.
So the big question is this: how are those in the self-storage industry like us going to be successful in today's market? That's the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Jim Ross, and welcome to the Self-Storage Show. Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross from the Self-Storage Show. Today's episode, it's going to go back to a Spotlight series. I have Scott Meyers on the line. How's it going, Scott?
Hey Jim, real good. How about yourself?
Good. We're all keeping busy, so it seems like every time I turn around, you're doing some kind of conference or some kind of workshop, and you always got something going on.
Yeah, we've the investment side and the education side. I've got basically two full-time jobs if I wanted it that way. So yeah, we certainly always have something cooking.
Uh, anyway, to kind of just to start off the top here, if you don't mind, kind of take a
Mhm.
couple minutes, just tell us about yourself, kind of how you got into storage and what you're currently doing.
Yeah, sure. So I started out in real estate investing, starting in the single-family home realm as well as apartments, and so started buying houses, renting them out, rehabbing them, renting them out, refinancing, and offering some up on a lease-to-own basis, with the hopes that the tenant buyers would actually execute their purchase agreement and buy the houses from us, and they did to a degree, but for the most part, we would get these houses up to the top of the market, so that they would get the highest valuations. But then the folks would never eventually purchase them. Something would go awry, and they weren't able to, and so we spent a whole lot of money rehabbing them to turn them into a rental. And so we decided that that wasn't really the best way to go about that business, and thought, well, economies of scale would fix this because we didn't have the cash flow and the freedom that we wanted, and got into the apartments business. And so we bought 400 apartments to add on to our 80 houses that we had. And
Wow.
same thing, we just realized that the tenant total business is hard, and we're pretty seasoned. We're still buying good properties. We weren't rookies at this. But at the end of the day, we're really just at the mercy of the market. We're at the mercy of even the courts. When people don't pay on in the housing industry, the habitational side of the real estate business, courts always go after the big bad landlord. And when they steal from us and destroy our properties, the courts call it non-payment of rent and excessive wear and tear. And
Oh,
so
jeez.
it's all the writing on the wall, and this is just a recipe that nobody can fix. And so we began looking into self-storage. I didn't want to go back and work for anybody else, and so I looked at other forms of real estate without tenant toilets and trash, and I was left with parking lots and self-storage. And parking lots you can't really create value in. You can't really move the needle by adding, income streams and raising rents too much. And so then I began looking into storage, and like you and the rest of the listeners out there, just basically saw the light. Where was this best kept secret? The Cinderella of the real estate industry, where when people don't pay, you can actually lock them out and then sell their stuff. And then during a recession, it actually benefits. It does better than during the boom times. And so bought our first facility and experienced all of that, and it was all true. And then began buying more and then selling off all our houses and apartments. And at the time, I was running the Indiana Real Estate Investors Association. We had about 600 members here in Indianapolis, and I began, as part of our workshops, I started adding self-storage because that's what I was investing in, and we had a lot of folks that were then wanting to take me to lunch and pick my brain to learn about self-storage. And well, after dozens of people wanting to do that, we decided that I put out a little home study system that it evolved into a very large, comprehensive business plan and home study system with software and everything in between to help people go out and teach them the business, so that I didn't have to go to lunch with everybody that wanted to learn.
Yep.
And then it just took off, and so that was the genesis of our education business. And then that morphed into 3-day events where we taught people how to then implement the best business practices to go out and find and manage facilities. And then folks wanted to have some help, some assistance in mentoring and coaching, and then also with the private equity side and the lending side. And we were gaining a number of equity investors that were investing with us, and they had more money than we had to be able to spend on particular projects. And so we began teaching more people how to do this, but then with the ultimate goal of partnering with them And so that's the network. I'm kind of fast forwarding from 2005 up to today. What we built is an organization where we blended both our education side of the business with our investing side, and we work with folks that are already in the industry, but we also groom and teach and mentor people how to go out and buy facilities and develop them and partner with them and combine that with our equity investors and our best business practices. So yeah, it's all come full circle, and as you said, there's just no shortage of projects or things for us to be working on right now, and the industry is just doing very well, and we're just riding that wave right now.
Oh, I bet. I mean, we keep waiting for it to start settling down, but it just keeps going and going and going. So that's
Yeah, it
fantastic.
does. But, Jim, I mean, we can't wait until it does slow down. I mean, when the correction slash recession occurs, I mean, that's when we all make our money, and we're poised to, take advantage of the market at even greater capacity at that time. So,
Hmm.
yeah, in some instances, some things I'd like to slow down, but yeah, when the recession hits is when we're really going to jump into high gear and begin smashing up as much as we can.
Yeah, and as you're speaking, I'm actually looking at your website here, the SelfStorageInvestingcom. Man,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like you said it before, it's educating everybody, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest pitfall that I see with people getting into the industry is, man,
Yeah.
they're making mistakes that it looks like you've been there, done that. If not you specifically, your
Mm-hmm.
other students, and you know what to be able to help people with, so they can avoid those pitfalls. That's the
Mm-hmm.
great. Uh, and just,
Yeah, yeah, we've seen there are, and I'm sure on your end of the business when you come in, I imagine some of the time, at least, they're wanting you to come in and fix the mistakes that they made on the front end of purchasing the facility or the mistakes they needed managing up to that point. And we're doing the same thing, not necessarily on the management side, but just some bad buying decisions. And yeah, I think so many people still hold to the myth around this industry that it's the easiest of real estate because you're not managing tenants and toilets, and that you can just buy it and then kind of set it and forget it. And it could be nothing further than the truth that
yep.
it's not a hobby, it's a business, and you have to walk the four corners, and you have to keep an eye on the managers. And if you have management companies, you have to keep an eye on the management companies. And yeah, you got to treat it like a business and take care of it. So yeah, we do our best to teach people how to go out and evaluate these things on the front end. But then on the back end, to at least at the very least where we stop is where you pick up. You say, here, hire a good property management company, and if you can't do that, you better hire a good manager and then have somebody like yourself, oversee them and make sure that there's the best business practices put in place and to ensure that this thing doesn't, incur a hiccup.
Yep, yep. No, exactly. So, I mean, we kind of both come to the standpoint of, making sure everyone's educated correctly. And as, like you
Mm-hmm.
said before, you're beginning of getting everyone off on the right foot. And
Mm-hmm.
kudos, man. Your website's fantastic. I just want to hit on a few things here. You quickly touched upon it, but I'm just looking real quickly. It looks like you have a free the master class that people can register and kind of get a little
Mm-hmm.
more indoctrinated a little bit in what you have to offer. It looks like.
We do. It's a 6-part video series, and it's not really even 30,000 feet. It's more like 10,000 feet
Huh.
view of the various aspects of what it takes to find a good facility and analyze it and a good market, things to look for, and how to evaluate it, how to negotiate the types of lending and financing that's available. How to close these things, and then again, we touch on a little bit of those that we just mentioned on the management side, and then
Yeah.
how we rinse and repeat and then prepare to protect that asset going forward and scale it.
No, that's fantastic. I'm gonna watch that myself. I haven't watched that yet, so I'm gonna do that. Then it looks like
Good.
obviously the learn from home. That's fantastic for people that can't make your live
Yep.
events. Probably that's a great
Mhm. Mhm.
resource. What? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So we do have a number of well, first of all, the video series. They can do that, and then if they're interested in taking the next steps, then as I mentioned, we created this home study system that is only because the industry is familiar with calling it a home study system, but it's really our business plan. We've open sourced our business plan, what we've learned over the years, and how to go out and truly create a plan to then implement it to put into place that has all the nuts and bolts, everything from A to Z. It's not a book, it's not fluff, it's not theory, it's the actual nuts and bolts of how to go out and buy your first self-storage facility and then what to do with it after that and all the steps in between from A to Z. Including our software, which many folks in the industry use for analyzing facilities that tracks all your income and expenses, comes up with an NOI and then a cap rate, and beyond that, another 147 different calculations that we use for private equity and for lending and our loan requests and everything else in between. So that's kind of our next step. And then again, we have 3-day live events that we hold around the country. And kind of scaling back from that. I'm not doing as much of that as we used to because we are spending more time investing. But just shows people how to apply that. And the goal of those 3-day events, in our mind, is to teach them how to go out and do that, so that when they find either too many deals or too big of a deal and they want to partner with us, then that's we hope they call our organization and call us to have an opportunity to be able to partner with them on that. And we provide coaching and assistance along the way. And what we've launched, I don't relaunch, but recently we're focused right now on building our mastermind, which are advanced players, people that are in the industry and have been in it. We're capping it at we're about at our limit, about 50 people. And these are folks that are in the business, that are actively searching for existing facilities and developing facilities. And we also have a number of well-heeled equity investors that have literally tens of millions of dollars behind them. And it's all about matching the deal flow up with the capital. And so that's what we do at the Mastermind, and we hold those meetings once a quarter. So that's, in a nutshell, just about everything you find on what we're doing on the education and on the investing side.
Oh, I'm just curious, are the masterminds like in person where you're meeting once a quarter?
Yes, we meet once a quarter. Sometimes it's on the front end of our 3-day event, because some of those folks will stay over and go down to our developers event or our private equity event as well. And then sometimes they're one-off. We'll go to Napa from time to time. We got one coming up in Austin, Texas. We're going to have a big old a white linen barbecue is what we're going to have with that. So we try to do some fun with that. And these are, they're typically advanced folks, high net worth individuals, and so we try to do some fun things along with that as well. And 2 days, it's shortened. It's 2 days of just doing deals and matching it up with capital in the room.
That's fantastic. I was going back to your website here, looking at it. I think what I love most about anything else that you have is you actually have case studies. People have gone through this and succeeded. I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to sit there talking about, hey, you should do this, and this sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, people are actually gone through your systems, and here you go. You can see what they're doing with it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's again, it's not self-serving. We review this. We kind of got into the education side as really an extension of the mission work that we're already doing.
Yeah.
To help people, and the goal is to get them into their own facility, get them across the finish line on their own. But unlike other real estate and sometimes small business, information educators and gurus and seminar folks. Their goal is just to sell stuff and not really provide the education. Well, if we don't have success stories, if we hold anything back and we don't teach people how to do it and do it right, then we won't have the opportunity to partner with them. So, we take a 180-degree different approach than virtually every other education organization out there in this real estate space. In that, we are forced to make them successful, because if not, then we don't get compensated enough to spend that amount of time sharing the information with these folks if we don't have the opportunity to create some partnerships along the way.
Mm-hmm. No, it looks great. For all the listeners out there, go to SelfStorageInvestingcom. There's a wealth of information there to kind of get going, get the ball rolling. Let's start realizing what you have to offer. It looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, besides the website, if people want to get more information, is there a way to contact you or your offices?
Yeah, everything, all our contact information is there on the website, and then you can find us on Facebook, and you can check it, Scott Meyers Self-Storage anywhere, Twitter handles, Facebook, anywhere else on social media, but primary ways through our office at the site there if anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about what we're doing or potential partnerships or anything else along those lines.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna check out this one myself. So I really appreciate it, man. We'll catch up. I'm sure at some trade shows. We'll say hi and go from there. But again, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the show.
All right, my pleasure, Jim. Thanks so much.
All right, see you, Scott. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks for supporting the show. I want to let you know that we've just opened up our brand new free private Facebook group. There I'll be having some extra special content not found anywhere else. If you really want your facility to be a success in today's market, then this is going to be the place for you. You can request to join us at SelfStorageCommunity.com or search for Self Storage Domination Community on Facebook.